Hey, what's up, YouTube world? It is your girl here, the Venusian Bull, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, I am doing the forecast, the astrological forecast for the week beginning January 5th, 2020 to January 11th, 2020. So as I mentioned in my monthly January forecast video, I am going to be doing weekly videos where I will delve a little bit deeper into the aspects and the cosmic weather. And I'm also going to be talking about the moon cycles, moon phases rather. So because the moon travels so quickly, it would have been too much for me to do that in the monthly recap, but I can do that in the weekly ones. All right, so the first aspect that I want to talk about is Mars trine Chiron. And this is a very interesting aspect that's happening given what's going on in the world right now with the threat of war on our hands for the United States and Iran, because, you know, we have a president in office that's just like, you know, this is a bad guy, let's kill him or whatever. So, you know, there may be a threat for war. We don't know the extent of it yet, but yet there's troops that are going to Iran. I'm not quite sure. I'm not a foreign policy expert by any means, but Mars is in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius has to deal with international travel and it does also have to deal with you know, justice in the government and things of that nature, but most importantly, international travel in other countries. So, and Mars has to deal with conflict, war, aggression. So the fact that there's a potential for war and fighting with another country is fitting for Mars in Sagittarius. And then we have Chiron, who is the wounded healer and exposes emotional as well as physical wounds, is in Aries, and Aries is the sign of combat and fighting and things of that nature. So even though it's a trine, I think that trine made it easy for 45 to feel like he could, you know, assassinate this, you know, very prominent figure in Iran. Like, I just, you know, sometimes when there are trines, it makes it easy to do bad things. So it's a facilitating aspect, and it's something that comes naturally, but it's not always for the good. So I think this Mars trine Chiron aspect is along those lines. Getting outside of politics and the government, just know that there's going to be some type of uphill battles and trauma that you may need to endure to get out on the other side. You're going to have to fight, and that may include physical, or it may be internal fighting within yourself to kind of get to the other side and accomplish your goal and get to the finish line. Because Mars, you know, that energy loves to race, it loves to compete. You know what I'm saying? So definitely think about it in that way, especially if you're an athlete. Okay, so the next aspect that's happening is, oh, and I forgot to mention Mars trine Chiron, that's happening at the 1st degree. So that kind of compounds all of that fire energy, because Mars is in Sagittarius, it's a fire sign. Chiron is in Aries, it's a fire sign. And the number 1 in numerology vibrates to the sun, which rules Leo. So it's a lot of fire energy. So you think fire, you think fighting, combat, war, aggression, like all of that is kind of culminating into one aspect. Okay, so then we have Sun Sextile Neptune that's happening on January 7th. And this is going to kind of smooth out a little bit of that aggressive aggression and tension that's happening, and, you know, a little bit of the beautiful things that you want to experience, like, you know, your music that you like to listen to, your meditation, your spiritual practices and oneness, your healing practices and things of that nature. It'll be a good time to explore that, especially with kind of all of the negativity that's going on collectively, and the angst and the trauma. It'll be good to go to a place where it's kind of, you know, serene, and, you know, what makes you feel comfortable and peaceful and things like that. Be aware that Neptune is an addictive energy, so you may be prone to addictive tendencies like drugs and alcohol to stay peaceful. So try not to go that route. Try to go more of the routes of music, healing, maybe go see a therapist or something like that. You know, utilize the time to heal in doing things in the performing, visual, or healing arts. It's a really great time to do that, or just like help people, because Neptune rules Pisces and it's very compassionate. So helping people, spending time with animals, and you know, things like that, show compassion, right? So I didn't talk about the quincunxes in the monthly review, but I do want to talk about this quincunx, and it's Mars quincunx Uranus. They also call a quincunx an inconjunct. So this is happening at the 2nd degree on January 7th as well. And this is a very hard, like frustrating kind of aspect, like, why can't I get this right type of thing. It's going to be a very, like, you know, frustrating atmosphere, especially when you're kind of compounding that on to the Mars trine Chiron aspect. So just remember that Uranus has to deal with unpredictability, unconventionality, surprises, sudden things happening, unexpected things happening, electricity, being different, eccentric, you know, freedom, rebellion, and then you have it interacting with Mars, which, like I mentioned, has to deal with aggression and war and conflict and fighting and things like that. So think about that in terms of like the big picture of society. There's going to be a lot of people trying to fight for what's right and fight for freedom and fight for justice, and possibly, you know, groups formed to, you know, of like-minded individuals to try to bring awareness to certain issues, and things of that nature. And, you know, it may be a physical group in terms of like they may want to physically fight or something like that. So, you know, just be on the lookout. People going to be acting crazy in this coming week or the next month, and, you know, possibly the next 6 months when I get to talking about the eclipse that's going to go down. So just definitely be mindful of that. And Uranus is all about doing things different and being eccentric and really rejecting the normalcy of society. So you're going to see a lot of that rebelling in government, in politics, as well as in your everyday life. All right, so the next aspect that we have is Mercury sextile Neptune. This is also happening at the 16th degree, just like the Sun sextile Neptune happened. And this is a very good aspect for communicating artistic expression in writing or speaking, because Mercury has to deal with communicating. And this could be, you know, in private, but it could also be in public, because Mercury does have to deal with the media. So, you know, this could be writing a blog, writing a short story, writing an essay, writing a song, speaking on, you know, YouTube or something like that, like I'm doing right now. It's very Mercury sextile Neptune, because Neptune has to deal with film and visuals and video and things of that nature. So there may be a lot of that going on, and delivering spiritual messages, spiritual information, because of the Neptune influence. Try to have something to believe in and something to have some faith in, given this, you know, trying time that we're having. Because I don't know if y'all noticed, but 2020 started off kind of shaky now. Okay, so hopefully we can get into that, connecting to our spirituality in this materialistic Capricorn season. All right. So next we have Jupiter opposite the North Node, which is also conjunct the South Node. And with Jupiter being opposite the North Node has to deal with your purpose in this lifetime and what you need to aspire to reach your full potential. The South Node has to deal with, you know, karmic debts and characteristics and things that we need to rid ourselves of in this lifetime. So Jupiter conjunct the South Node is very much taking advantage of opportunities that may conflict with your moral compass, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter has to deal with morals and you know, ethics and things of that nature. So there may be some issues with that, like you're getting success, you're getting what you want, but it's at the expense of others, or it's at the expense of compromising your morals and things. So with that being opposite the North Node, with the North Node in Cancer, that could very well mean compromising, you know, family and loved ones and your spouse and your children and things like that for an opportunity and success. So be careful, make sure you're balancing out. Like, you have to work to survive. Obviously, you have a career, you put a lot of work into it, you need to do that. And Jupiter does represent abundance and generosity and expansion. So you're giving back, like you're paying it forward to your family. It just may not be in the physical sense, like you may not be spending as much time with them and things like that. Also, Jupiter represents the truth. Jupiter is all about the truth coming out. So it may be a lot of people like not holding their tongue about things, especially when it comes to people's future and things like that. And there may be a lot of truth serum that's coming out, possibly for the positive, but also maybe for the negative. So, you know, it's a generous energy, but it has this opposition and it's conjunct the South Node. So it can kind of have ulterior motives, that Jupiter. All right. So moving right along to Sun conjunct Mercury. So that is happening at the 19th degree on January 10th. And this aspect, Mercury and the Sun are working in tandem together. And it's really going to be shining a light on the media and the way you're communicating with people, and you're going to be more bold in your communication, more out there, more at the forefront. And I forgot to mention earlier with the Mercury aspects, Mercury does have to deal with short distance travel, and that includes driving. So always beware. Now, Sun conjunct Mercury, not so much of an issue, but the Mercury sextile Neptune, kind of be careful of being distracted and losing focus and things like that while you're driving. But back to Sun conjunct Mercury, be prepared to see people, you know, being more forthcoming with their opinions and the way they're communicating with you, and being bold and kind of not being shy to communicate their real selves and their authentic selves to you. And, you know, really putting that out there, and really, you know, showing where they shine and where their talents lie and things like that. People are going to be very talkative during this transit, and very expressive, very like talking with their hands, and just, you know how when people like use their whole body to speak and to talk, that's like Sun conjunct Mercury, using your whole body to communicate your message and to express yourself. All right, so now we've gotten to the biggie, okay? So here we are with the lunar eclipse in Capricorn that is happening on January the 10th. Let me go back a little bit because it should be happening at 19 degrees here. The minutes are a little bit off, but it's lunar eclipse is also a full moon, so that means the sun is in Capricorn and the moon is in the opposite sign of Cancer. So again, we're continuing this Cancer Capricorn axes, this work-life balance, this career versus family. So this is something that's going to be very prominent, and a full moon, usually you can see the effects of that for up to 4 weeks. But since this is a lunar eclipse, you may see the effects of this for up to 6 months, and may already actually be feeling it now. You know, especially with all of this heavy Capricorn energy, you may feel like work is taking precedence over your family and being present in their lives. So just remember that it's very important to have that balance, because it's a possibility that you could lose either one if you're giving too much attention to one or the other. So make sure that you're doing what you need to do to provide for your family and your loved ones, but make sure you're also doing what you need to do to physically be with your loved ones and be present and be that nurturer, be that Cancer part. You know, do things in the home, work, maybe work from home sometimes or something like that. And when you need to go to work, maybe take half days. I know how some people, you know, they just love to work and they don't like to take off. Take some vacation, y'all. Take some time off. It's a new year. I know y'all got some new banks, okay? New vacation banks. So definitely take advantage of taking that time off, especially over the next 6 months, because things are going to get hectic, especially with this Saturn and Pluto conjunction coming up, how that's going to affect things. So you're definitely going to need that time to be with people that you love and not so consumed with work. This is also going to affect us politically, because Capricorn does have to deal with the government and politics and authority and things like that, and Cancer has to deal with nations and nationality and nationalism, so to speak. So again, the threat of war, all of that is kind of being magnified by this lunar eclipse. So it's kind of about like what's more important, like showing kind of how big and bad you are as a boss and as an authoritative figure, that Capricorn energy, or showing that what's more important for the country is for us to focus on our country, as opposed to trying to start wars with other countries, or assassinating other major prominent figures in other countries, even though that was already done, which may war may be inevitable. Hopefully it's not. But war has been a continuous thing in this country for like 2 decades at this point almost. So it's been a lot going on. And it's more about there's this conflict, there's this thing about, national security. And, Cancer does have to deal with security, and it has to deal with nations. So national security, but it's this twisted thinking that, little pieces of information, or just because someone is bad, that's good enough to attack, to make it seem like you're making your country safe. This is like kind of like a warped sense of thinking, but I'm kind of getting too deep into this. But just remember that the lunar eclipse in Capricorn with the sun, the lunar eclipse in Cancer, this is going to be a very much career versus family, work-life balance type of thing. So try not to put all of your eggs in either basket and balance that out, okay? There's no Libra energy happening right now to really give off that balance effect, but, just keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. All right, so in the last major aspect that's happening this week is Uranus going direct. Now, it's been retrograde for a few months. These outer planets stay retrograde for a long time. So it's going to be going direct on January 10th at the 2nd degree in Taurus. And whenever I talk about Uranus in Taurus, I always talk about the new normal. What we don't view as normal now is going to become normal once this transit of Uranus through Taurus is complete within the next 6 or 7 years. So things like astrology, astrology is becoming more normal every day. It's being more, prominent. I see it more on social media, and even in like with celebrities and musicians and things, but it's still not, a lot of people still think astrology is the devil and all of this type of stupid mess. But by the time this transit is over, astrology is definitely going to be the norm, in different healing practices like tarot reading and stuff like that. I mean, people are going to be starting to connect the dots with these transits and, the cosmic weather. And we're already in the age of Aquarius, but we're really going to enter the age of Aquarius once Pluto gets into Aquarius in a couple of years. Saturn's going to initiate it, and then Pluto is going to blast it off. So keep that in mind. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But Uranus in Taurus, I mean, like the Australian wildfires, that's kind of an effect of Uranus and Taurus. Also, I would say Mars trine Chiron, because Mars has to deal with fire. But Uranus and Taurus has to deal with the earth, and it has to deal with the grounding and, what keeps you grounded. And the grounding and what is keeping that country and continent grounded is up in flames, and Uranus does have to deal with, electricity and sudden changes and things happening unexpectedly, and it's not always good things. Just remember that. So I just, thought about those wildfires, praying for everybody there. I mean, it's just crazy. And all of the animals and everything being affected. It's just crazy. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. With Uranus previously being in retrograde, it was kind of slowing down that electricity that Uranus normally has, but now it's going to be kicking into high gear. Just expect the unexpected, be prepared for what you are not usually used to. All of you people who are all up in y'all toxic masculinity mess, the LGBTQ people are not going anywhere. So just understand that that is going to continue to be more prominent in media and be more represented. Again, the new normal. Uranus rules Aquarius, and it's a very unconventional type of energy. It's not about conforming to the norm. It's not about conforming with society. So there's going to be a lot of pushback, a lot of activism and freedom seeking, especially because this year is an election year. Okay, like people are not going to stand for the same old shit. They are not going to stand for that. I know a lot of people think that things are going to be business as usual, as do these candidates, but there is going to be an uprising, okay? There is going to be a rebellion that is going to happen several times probably while Uranus is in Taurus. So definitely keep that in mind. So I wanted to talk about the moon phases just a little bit. So we start off the week on January 5th with the moon in Taurus, and the moon is going to be in Taurus on May 5th and May 6th. Oh, moon is going to be conjunct my sun, cute. Basically, moon and Taurus days are going to be kind of calm and serene. You're going to want to eat. You're going to want to indulge. You know, Tauruses love to eat. You're going to be on your practicality type of stuff. You're going to want to feel that comfort and security. You may want to be home. I know a lot of people are back to work today. I know I am. But you're going to want to have that comfort of being home and just serenity. You know, get you a nice glass of wine and cuddle up on the couch and eat some good food and just be chill. This is chill energy, okay? Also good energy for, you know, sensual, you know, if you got a partner, you got a man, you know, woman or something like that, you know, cuddle and be touchy-feely. Taurus is all about the senses. All right, so then by January 7th, the moon goes into Gemini. So this is the yap sign. You may notice that people are talking a lot more and just, you know, maybe talking too much. People who maybe don't usually talk at all are all of a sudden very chatty. So this is a very chatty time. This is also a time where, you know, I mean, people are always on social media. I think we're in the time where that's always going to happen. But there's going to be a lot more people on social media with a lot more opinions and things to say. I mean, people are going to be saying whatever is on their mind and asking a lot of questions and being very intuitive and just talking a lot. And also just be aware of when you're driving, be cognizant, be cautious, and all of that type of stuff, because Mercury rules Gemini and, you know, cars. Also be cognizant of the things that you're saying to your like family members and people. I wouldn't say family members, like siblings, neighbors, people like within your immediate environment, that type of thing. Make sure that you're not saying stuff that's stinging too much, but it's going to be, for the most part, it's going to be a fun energy, playful, people may be playing jokes on each other and things of that nature. So the moon is in Gemini until the 9th. So I spoke a little bit about the moon being in Cancer when I was talking about the eclipse, and you know, this is home energy, this is family energy, this is nurture, this is cooking, this is feeling emotionally secure, this is a little bit more introverted space. So you may kind of want to cuddle up in your own little corner in your own little chair. You may be a little bit more emotional around this time because, you know, the moon rules Cancer, so you know the emotions may be on on a high at this particular time, more than usual, especially coming off of the Gemini moon, where they're more about logic than emotions. So definitely keep that in mind when the moon is going through Cancer, and it's going to be in Cancer until the 11th, and we're finishing out the week with the moon entering Leo. So get ready for fun for the weekend and going out and partying and kind of living it up, because this weekend, this week is going to be a lot of draining energy, and that is not going to stop next week. So take advantage of that moon and Leo time. Do something fun, do something entertaining, go do karaoke, you know, play your favorite sports, you know, play with your kids. Leo represents kids, you know, do something fun with them. Just have fun, do things that are going to make you happy, because Jesus, it's a lot of shit that's happening this month. So anytime you get some happy energy in the cosmic weather and some good, like, positive energy, you know, make sure you take advantage of that. Just be, you know, mindful of, you know, being too bossy or being too authoritative and things like that. But it's going to be a nice break from all of, like, that heavy Capricorn energy. All right. So that is it for this week of January 5th. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am going to be continuing to release my planets and the houses video, so stay tuned. Mars will be uploaded today, and I will be continuing to do that, as well as the weekly forecast videos. So definitely be on the lookout. And let me know what you thought about this video. This is something new that I've been doing. So definitely let me know what you think. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And come back to this video after a couple of weeks and see if anything resonated with you. See if anything happened that I mentioned. Do the same thing with my monthly January forecast. I'm curious to see. I like to engage with the people who view my videos. So until next time, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.